Hi, Facebook Live. Are you here? We're going to start, so get comfortable. Yeah, I'll get you some food. It's good.
It's dalbat. It's Nepali food. It's like chicken curry and rice and lentils, but it tastes way better than it sounds because you're like, ooh, rice and lentils, but it's really good. Just get you a little.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, y'all ready to hear about all this stuff?
Yes.
So, thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. And thank you to everybody that is watching on Facebook Live for watching. We're excited to be here in Memphis. And just a little bit about what Hobnail trekking is. We'll talk a little bit more about this, and Holly will talk about it. But we're the only, and you've heard us say, we're the only company that's based east of the Colorado Rockies that sends people to Nepal on these treks. It was, the way that it came about was just a chance thing. It was serendipity. It was a God thing, to be honest with you. And but I do want to thank you. I want to thank Sherpa, if the Sherpa people are watching, for providing this incredibly yummy food. And I want to thank Miss Kate Friedel right here for helping to get this facility for us. And she's been our eyes and ears on the ground here in Memphis. I think she's gonna be a good partner for a long time. So I'm gonna let Holly give you a little background on the company, and then we'll get into what we're gonna talk about today.
Okay. So you might be asking, who is Hobnail? Cue Mark to go to the next. We're a brand new company, just started in January of this year, although an Everspace Camp trek has been on our bucket list for a long time. Probably about 10 years ago or so, I read Into Thin Air and became like obsessed with Everest, not climbing the mountain. I have no desire to climb the mountain. If a helicopter could just drop me on top and I could experience it and then be safely transported home, then maybe, but no desire to climb, but the going to base camp has been on our list. I didn't even realize it was a thing. I didn't realize that people went to base camp. I thought you either climbed the mountain or you read books about it. And I saw one of my high school friends on Facebook. I remembered seeing her standing in front of some prayer flags, and there was a cake that said EBC, and I connected, okay, that means Everspace Camp. She must have gone to base camp. Well, she's a marathoner. She's single. She travels for her job. I say she's single because she's not spending all of her money on 3 kids like Mark and I are. So I just thought, okay, well, this is something that people like her can do, but not people like me or like us. And then Mark had this chance meeting with Dawa and realized that this is something that normal people can do. And we thought that maybe we can help be the catalyst for that and make that connection, make it a doable thing for you if it's on your bucket list or if it's a dream that you think you'll never be able to do. So we started this company, and our goal is to make it very easy for you, and you'll see towards the end we talk about our role, what we do, and what's included, but it really is to make it easy for you, make this doable so you can check it off your bucket list.
Good.
Yeah.
So, what we're gonna do today, we're gonna watch a quick little video that is just a nutshell, essentially, of the EBC trek. It's about 7 minutes long. It's really cool. There's a zillion of them that you can go watch. Most of them are longer than this one. So this is a good little nutshell. We're going to talk about the basics of the track. Dahl and I are going to do a little Q&A. We're going to go through the itinerary, which we'll look at each day of the track. Holly will talk about what's included in the price and what's not, the pricing and the different discounts, where to go from here, how to proceed, and then we can be here pretty much as long as you guys want to talk about it. So that's the best part of these meetings, really, is just the question and answers at the end.
Best part of any meeting.
That's right. So has everybody got their food and drink? Everybody good and comfortable? All right.
And help yourself to seconds, thirds.
You got
We
your
won't
phone?
keep count. I do.
Okay. Go ahead. Here we go. sure. What did it look like to you, Doll? Spring? Yeah. You can hit snowy weather just about any time there. All right. Was that fun? Was that pretty cool? So the basics, just so you got an idea of what this is. So a trek to EBC, Everspace Camp, is roughly 19 to 20 days. That includes a couple days in Kathmandu before and after, about 2 weeks of actually walking and acclimatizing. We can send treks with as few as 2 people and as many as 16. Trekking seasons are generally in the spring and fall. Although you can actually trek all the way up into the wintertime, that happens. People do Christmas treks and stuff. But the traditional seasons are spring and fall. We don't go in the summer because that's the monsoon season. So the weather comes over down from Tibet and rains on them all summer long. No camping. That's a cool thing. We stay in tea houses every night, and Dawa will tell you a little bit more about what tea houses are like in just a minute. Another biggie, no mountaineering experience. You don't have to have crampons. You don't have to know how to do all the fancy stuff. We're not climbing any mountains. This is a hike. So you don't have to worry about that. Good pair of boots and good little backpack, and you're ready to go. The hike, the trekking itself, every day, we'll do at least 3 miles every day, and we'll do no more than 9 miles. There's 1 or 2 days where they're pretty long days, pretty long distance, but I think the average is 5 or 6 miles a day. And every trek is going to be led by experienced local guides and porters, not me and not Holly. So we'll take care of you over here. The Dawas people are going to take care of the important stuff, which is over there. No heavy backpacks. You're just going to have a day pack on. You're going to be carrying your coat and just some snacks and water and stuff like that. So the heavy stuff will be handled by porters and some combination of porters and yaks. And we'll talk more about this too, but some people feel a little bit weird about having other people carry their heavy bags, and that's understandable. But the thing to remember about that is that that's how these guys make a living. That's how they put food on the table over there, so they want to be doing it. So you don't have to feel bad about it. So who can do this? Who do we recommend this for? You'll notice I'm saying if you're in decent shape by departure. And I say that because generally people are going to book this 6 months in advance, maybe even longer. We can get anybody into hiking shape in 6 months. So part of our job is to help you with training. If you don't feel like you're ready now, just help you get used to what you're going to need to do when you get there. So if you can handle a 6-hour hike per week by the time that you leave, you should be just fine. If you have a little hiking experience, you don't have to have a ton. Probably you guys all do have hiking experience. You got to be willing to prepare, because this is all about getting your ducks in a row before you go. You got to be willing to follow the instructions of our trek leader, and he'll whip you into shape if you don't. What did you call it? It's like a boot camp on the way up, Dawa, or a school? Yeah. It's like he's like a schoolmaster on the way up. Yeah. You got to be willing to be a vegetarian for the trek, for the days that we're actually walking. That's because meat is carried on the back of other animals or porters for several days to get up to these high tea houses, and we just don't recommend that you eat that meat because you don't want to take any chances. You got to be willing to be stinky and use weird toilets. You got to be adventurous and want to experience new cultures. And you wouldn't be here if you weren't like that, I think. And you got to be ready to check this off your bucket list if this is on your bucket list. That's what it's all about for Holly and I. So, come on up, Dawa. I'm going to ask. We're going to do a little Q&A session here.
Hello.
This is Dawa Jangbu Lama Sherpa from the Everest region, and I'm going to let you tell who you are. So where are you from?
It's called Lower Everest region. So that's where we live down by Everest. So it's like a couple of days to get to Everest from where we are. At 7,000 feet. That's where I was born. So it's the main route to Everest. That's when the first expedition went up with Hillary. So they took that. They went right past our village. So we have a lodge there that we can people come and stay the night. So that's where I'm from, and it's called Trubesi, a village.
All right. And you've lived in the States for 2 years?
2 years, last Independence Day.
Okay. And why did you come here?
My parents moved here. My brother who moved here in the 1990s. So he's been here for a while. He lives here more than he lives there. Then it was my parents who came in, my turn. So I applied 8 years ago. That was how long it took for me to get my papers ready and come here. And it's family reason that I came here. It's good to be here.
All right. So when did you first become aware of trekkers and climbers and foreigners like that?
We were sent to an English boarding school. So that was a boarding school, and we saw parents once a year, twice a year sometimes. And we went home for summer vacations in winter. That's when we used to see a house full of tourists. And we're like, wow, where did they come from? What are they doing here? So then we came to know that they're heading to base camp, and they're doing some treks. So that's when we came to know, oh, they're foreigners, and that just hits our head saying, oh, there are other people different than us too. They look different. Yeah.
So, and I want you to talk a little bit about your dad, what your dad did, but what do you recall about your first visit to Everest, and how did that come about?
Yeah, going up to Everest, flying to Luklo, that was the most, the good part, getting there and being up there like from 1,350 meters to 28. So that was a big change, and going up to Everest Base Camp was a long walk. It felt long, it's not long, but it was long because I had headache my first time, and just getting to base camp was the best part, and seeing all the tourists make it up there. So it was good, and I was thinking I might do this all my life. But since when I came here, to stop for a while, I'm doing it again.
Yeah. So your trekking is in your family,
Yes.
right? So
My dad,
talk about your dad.
He's been trekking all his life, but now when he moved here, stopped. So that's 10 years ago. He stopped trekking. But that was what he did for the family, and that's what he did for like 25 to 30 years. So what happens in the family with our culture is that the youngest son takes over. So he did go become a monk in a Buddhist temple. It's nice he quit, because I would be doing that with no hair and studying and teaching others now. But then now he's a guide. He was a guide, so that's what I like doing now. Going up everywhere, seeing places, because it's there for you. You don't want to just do something in a table, because that's why Everest is there. That's what they said, it's there. That's why they're climbing it. So that's me now. That's my life. Go up there and travel everywhere in Nepal. And I'm glad that he did that.
So before moving here, you worked in the trekking industry for 10 years.
Yeah.
And this was with European companies. And how did you get yourself into a position of leadership over that time?
See, we went to a boarding school, so that's good English for Nepal. It's a second language, but still, if you hear someone speaking good English, then that's what they need to become a guide. That's the first thing. You should be able to understand and speak English. And I was working as an assistant guide for 3 years, nearly 4 years. So that's when we used to meet our boss on the way with the other group, and she used to talk to us and say, hey, do you think you can lead that group? And I was like, oh yeah, I can. So that's what made me lead groups, and every time you have different groups going up there, you get better each time because you're spending the 17, 18, 20 days with foreigners, and that's when you learn about them, and that's it, yeah.
And you got to, when you're in a position of leadership over a full track, so you got 16 people that are foreigners, plus how many other staff?
I did, it was in 2010, there's other mountain that we go around, there's a pass. So I had 18 that time, 18 different English people. And I had 32 porters and 12 in the kitchen. So that was over 50 that I was leading. I had a guide with me, so he's also responsible to manage all those things, but then I'm there mostly responsible for my clients. So I have to be ready 24 hours to make sure they have a good, enjoyable trek, and to see if they're sick, or just to keep an eye on who's slow and who's doing what, and that's leadership.
Yep. So we didn't talk about this a few minutes ago, but just to give you a little more background about why we started this, or how we started it. I've been in marketing communications for a long time. And I worked for Tennessee Farmers Cooperative, and then I was communications director for Tennessee Wildlife Federation. And so I've been dealing with outdoor stuff for a long time. Last summer, I was ready to start my own company, or I was ready to be on my own, put it that way. And Dawa was a Lyft driver, the company Lyft. He was doing that so that he could be talking to people about his industry in Nepal and trekking. And I just happened, it was the first time I'd ever used Lyft. It was the very first time I just downloaded the app and hit the thing. And he shows up, and we just immediately became friends, just like that fast. And I was getting out of the car. I said, "Where are you from?" He said, "Nepal." I said, "What?" And I sat down and I said, "Wow, my wife and I have got this bucket list thing. We want to go to Everest Base Camp. Do you know anything about that?" And he looks at me and he says, "Mark, I am a Sherpa from the Everest region of Nepal." And I was like, mind blown. And 2 days later, we sat down with Dawa, and he said, "Mark, I didn't have a chance to tell you this, but I'm in this trekking industry. And, I've got a network of people there, guys that I work with." But he had no way to market in the United States. Well, I started looking at the industry here, and I realized, wait a minute, there's nobody in this part of the country that provides this. And we just always assumed that it was completely out of reach. And after we met and talked to Dawa, we realized, well, it's not out of reach at all. It's just that people don't know about it. So that's how this company began. We wanted to make it an American experience as far as how you book it, how you learn about it, how you research it, how you go, not an English experience or a Chinese experience. We wanted to be an American thing so that Americans are comfortable with doing it. So when you and I started working together, and he's been an integral part of everything that we've done so far. So from your experience, how do you see Hobnail Trekking as different from other companies that you work with?
The first thing right here, now you can talk to the people responsible, right? From Nepal and from the one who's taking care of here in the States. You don't really get to do that with other companies. So when you book a trip, you just call them, and there could be someone selling you the trip by reading a book. So like now I know what's going up there, and I've done that so many times. So when we sell trips, when we talk to you, give you information, it's me from there, a local guide. And to make it easy, someone here which helps me to get closer to the people over here. And it's by Hobnail who's helping me with that. So that's how we're working together, and we're different because now I know all my parts in the palm. So then when we trek up there, we try to do the things that you've not paid for, like we might just stop in somebody else's tea house and give them business. Have a lunch over there. We might go off the trail sometimes if you want to. That's what we're all about. And some companies don't let you do that because they have rules on that. So we want to be more flexible and dependent. We want to work according to your needs. So it's all about you. So what you need. So we'll try to adjust ourselves. Not you on us, but we with you. So that's why we're different, I would say.
Okay. So I want to jump to the trek right quick. And these might be questions that you guys have that he can touch on now, and then just keep track of other stuff that you want to ask in a few minutes. So when we land in Kathmandu, we get to the airport and walk out off the plane. What happens at that point?
Yeah, the first thing is visa. You can get a visa once you land in the airport, or you can get it in advance. So if you've not done that, you have to go to the immigration, get a visa. Once you come out from the main exit door, you'll see our staff. It could be me, it could be the guide, or someone from our company who would be there with a big sign trying to look for you because they know you're coming. So all you have to do is look out for Hobnail and see where they are. And once you gather everyone, if we have 16 or 10 or 5, once the group is there, you get transferred to your hotel, like half an hour away, and it's a standard hotel. It's not 5-star, it's not 2-star, in between that. So that's when everything starts over there. So we'll take you to the hotel and brief you about the flights for tomorrow. And you'll be flying the next day because we're putting some extra day at the end of the trip, just in case if flights get cancelled due to weather. So that's all you have that evening in Kathmandu. So that's when we'll brief you about where you change your money, what to take, last minute shoppings, and we'll be going out for dinner, a group dinner, just to get more used to with one another.
Okay.
That's not much for the day, but
yep.
Good enough. First day.
And the next day we're flying to Lukla and be there for an hour or so,
yes.
And then take off.
When you land there, you don't have to worry about it. We will be giving you a duffel bag for the trek. So that's what you'll be using for the whole trek, plus your backpack, a little backpack. So your bags they'll allow you to take less than 35 pounds per person. That's a weight limit. So that's all you can take for the trek. So when you land in Lukla, your bags will be handled by our Sherpas. So all you have to do is follow the leader. They'll tell you, and just go to the lodge that we'll be staying in on the way back. So that's when if you haven't had breakfast, you'll have breakfast there. Or if you have had breakfast, you still get an hour just to go get your boots from your bags and your poles and just get ready for that day. And once your bags are gone, you'll see them that night and that evening.
One thing that we didn't mention is when you fly into Kathmandu, you can bring as much stuff as you want, just like any vacation. All the stuff that you don't need for the trek will be stored by the hotel in Kathmandu. So they just do that as a service. It's there when you get back. You can, if you want to go, if you're going to somewhere else in Europe or somewhere in Asia, get your stuff and go. So we're going to be staying in what are called tea houses.
Yep.
Tell them what a tea house is.
Tea houses. Now these houses, most of them has been up there since, the first expedition and before that. So it was just normal houses then. But when Everest became popular, then they started using those houses as tea houses, lodges. So they started making rooms in there as much as they can, and there's a common toilet. So back in those days, that was it. But nowadays, since people travel a lot, they have Western bathrooms, attached bathrooms, and not all lodges do have that, but most of them do. So if not, then it's common bathroom. Everyone shares the same toilet, and you have rooms in the corridor, rooms on both sides with 2 beds. So that would be the bedding. And there's a place called dining area. It could be 1/3 of this room. So that's where everyone spends the time. That's because it's warm over there. They have a center heating. It's not like everywhere when you turn ACs and ACs down and off. Over there it's like, oh, you just want to stay by the fire. everyone gets close to the fire, and that's all just wood. So that's when they spend most of the time there before dinner is ready, or briefings will be done there. So it could be different groups of people, as many as the lodge can take. So that's where you'll be spending your time, in the dining area most of the time. Rooms will be cold, they don't have heating system, so you might want to take something that'll keep you warm, good sleeping bags, and they can even provide you with extra blankets if you need. All you have to do is let the guides know. You get it.
So and tea houses, one thing you didn't mention is that when you stay at a tea house, you're expected to eat the food.
Yeah.
It's essentially a restaurant where you can sleep overnight.
There's a menu.
Right. So there's a menu and stuff. So how representative is this food of real food on the trek, and what's that food like?
On trek, see, everything has been carried up there. Everything has been taken by people. So they won't fly over things. There's no any buses or trucks that will take food up there. So the higher you go up, it's going to get expensive, and you'll have things missing from the plate. Lower down, there's everything in your meal. So the higher you go up, there's less things. There's some things missing because they don't have everything, but they'll make sure you have enough. But then right now, a normal dal bath will have like at least 6 or 7 items. You might get that in the beginning of the trek. So as you go up, you can only end up with rice and dal. That's because it's hard to get it up there and it's very expensive. But then you can also order, pizza, but you don't want to go there to eat pizza up there. You want to try the local food. So all you want to do is dal bath, and they have vegetable dumplings and all vegetable meals. They can have pasta. You can still get porridge and muesli for breakfast, bread, Tibetan bread. No waffle. I don't remember any waffle up there, but
And those meals are
even Namche Bazaar.
right. You get everything in Namche.
There's a Belgian waffle house in Namche Bazaar. I don't know if you want to try that up there, but it's good.
And there's a lot of bakeries on the way too.
Bakeries.
Like there's serious like
Everest bakery,
brownies
yeah.
and like yummy stuff.
Chocolate cakes and all that, but only on the way down.
But those meals are part of your price, so you don't have to worry. Even when they get more expensive on the high end, they're still part of your price. Just do a quick description of what a typical day is.
Okay. Normally, there's most of the days we give you a wake-up time, so we'll be briefing you every evening about the day after, about tomorrow. So we'll give you a time saying, okay, we'll give you a wake-up call at 6:30. That's when you expect a knock on the door. You go open the door, and there'll be 2 cups of tea, black tea, to start with, or 1 cup if you're by yourself. That's how you start. So when you give you the wake-up time, you get half an hour to get ready. That's when you pack your sleeping bags, you wear boots, get everything ready for the day, and you leave your bags, the duffel bag, right outside your room, so that our Sherpas and porters can go collect those bags and get them ready. So you come down for breakfast after you've packed, because we've noticed that if you come for breakfast and go to pack, it takes hours. So you pack first and then breakfast. So that's another half an hour. So we should be left by 7:30, 8. So it all depends. But then after 2 hours or 2.5 hours, we'll be having tea stops. Just somewhere in a nice little tea house or nice views, if it's available, some tea or juice for like half an hour. Then there's other 2 hours walk, or it could be 2.5 hours for lunch. So that's about 12 o'clock, 1 sometimes. That's lunch, so we stop for lunch. So if it's a big group, we order something similar so that the lodges won't have trouble making 16 different or 10 different meals. And your meals won't end up in time because you order something complicated. So you want to stick to the simple menu. And after lunch, a couple of hours to the lodge. And when you get to the lodge, you can go, there'll be a welcome drink. Tea. They'll give you black tea or whatever tea is there. And you go grab them, and we'll give you keys out for your rooms. And when you go to your rooms, your bags will be there in your rooms. And that'll be normally the whole day, things to do, and walk the pace during the walking. And when you're walking, it's not a race. So if you want to go slow, we're fine with that. We'll have enough staffs we'll have 1 guide for 4 people. So if you want to go slow, you can stay back and you can stay with the leader, because the leader stays back most of the time. He wants to make sure who's doing how, and he can do that from staying behind, because he can keep an eye on everyone. So if you want to go slow, then that you'll be staying with the leader behind, which means you get more information and you talk about so many things. And doesn't mean that you won't learn anything if you go ahead, but it'll be better to go slow. But sometimes we end up with 16 people walking behind because they want to talk to the leader. So, but then the pace it's all designed. You want to go ahead a little quicker, faster, you can do that. But not that fast, like no one's going to see you. So we're very flexible with that. Walking pace and stop for water stop, pictures, and anything that stops you in the way. You can stop and you can spend hours.
So the trip, the first part of the trip, we're heading up, and at some point we're going to max out at the highest point that we're going to hit, and then we're going to walk back down. So what's the difference in the trip up and the trip back?
Going up is like you're going to achieve the reason you're going up there. So you want to be very careful, and that's when you go slow, and you want to be careful with what you eat and what you drink. But then coming down is like, oh, I've made it, so it's like we're going home. So that's when even when I try to stop them, I can't, because everyone's just rushing back, and it's like I tell them, oh, you can't drink, but it's like, okay, you can, because you've made it to base camp, so let's celebrate that. All the fun things happen on the way down. And going up is like serious, very serious, because we have a goal. We're going to do that as a team, and after that it's free.
So on that same note, what's Chang?
Chang is that's our alcohol. That's our drink.
That's your moonshine.
That's our moonshine. That's our life. That's everything for us. Sometimes I'm sure people going up to Everest, they drink Chang too. It gives you the power. I mean, it's not power, but it gives you oxygen up there. So that's made out of, it could be wheat, or it could be made corn or rice. So it's just fermented. It's cooked and fermented, and that's Chang. So those are the things that you get to try. If you really like it, you can. I don't know if they'll let you bring back home some, but you can do that too.
All right, good. So I'm gonna we're gonna just quickly look at the itinerary, and Dawa's gonna hit a couple high points here. No pun intended, right?
Yep.
Hit the high points.
Come here. Like if you see the first day arrival, transfer to hotel, and second day flight to Lukla, trek to Fogding. That's trek to Fogding. The first day after the flight, that's like 3.5 miles, no more than 4 miles that day. Just easy undulating up and downs to the first lodge. That's on day 2. So from day 3, you're going to Namche Bazaar. So Namche Bazaar is the capital up there. That's where all the business and the people from Tibet used to come there and do their business. So that's where you get internet, Wi-Fi, bakeries, massage, haircuts, yak rides if you want to ride on a yak. And so that's Namche Bazaar. So we'll have 2 nights over there in Namche Bazaar. And the reason we have 2 nights there is because the next day is a walk. You go up, just to get used to the altitude. So that's in Namche Bazaar. So on the day when we go up to get used to the climate, the altitude, you'll be going to see the Yeti scalp. There is a monastery that has the Yeti scalp. Yeti's head, a scalp, a Yeti, yeah. So that's where it's in a, you don't like that, but that's where that's very good up there. So that's the hike. They go up there, look at, you have to donate to take pictures of the Yeti scalp, but that's in a monastery. And you go to a hospital, the health post up there, that was built by Hillary. So they started all that. So that's where all the porters who has AMS, altitude sickness and all that gets treated. Some tourists get treated there. So we just go there, we take you there to go and see how good they are doing with all their equipment and their, all those extra machines, and they do a good job there. But that's on the day when, the next day in Namche Bazaar, the day 4. So that's when we try to take you up like 400 meters, hike, get used to that point and come back and slip lower. And day 5, Namche Bazaar to Tengbuche. So Tengbuche is one of the biggest Buddhist monasteries up there. So it's 3,900. So that's like when you're getting high now. That's when you can see the trees down there, tree lines and all that. It's fun there. That day is a long. It's a good day. So, but still on the afternoon, if we have time, we'll take you for a short walk. But it's going to be uphill, just to get used to the climate again. That's on day 6. Day 6, yeah. So day 6 is Tengbuche to Dingbuche. So that's when we will be up above 4,000 meters, 14,468. So Dingbuche, day 6 is, there's day 7, there's another day when you get used to. You have a rest day. We call it a rest day, but it's not a rest day.
Hey, Doll, let me interrupt you for a second. I'm gonna move past this because I can't find the cord for my computer. We might lose it. So
Okay.
we can give you more detail about the itinerary. Holly, she's gonna quickly tell you what's included.
Here, maybe there's some.
So this information on your website?
Yep.
Okay. So, sorry about that. So what's included in your trek before departure? When you sign up, you reserve your spot with a $500 deposit. You get a call from us within a day or two, just kind of saying, "Hey, welcome. Do you have any initial questions?" We send you a welcome package that has a shirt and cap, just like Kate's modeling so beautifully, and a bunch of other goodies as well as releases and the boring stuff. Boring but important stuff to sign. Then you get regular, starting at about 6 months out, you get regular emails from us that has gear recommendations, gives you some details about a different village each time. Dawa has a section in there where he gives you some advice on how to have a successful trek. Cultural information, that's a big deal to me, is the culture. So that's one of my favorite parts. Training tips and some discounts from some of our partners, Sherpa, Mountain High, and Diamond Brand. And then during the trek, for Nashville packages, we include the international airfare or the international flight. So you would have to get to Nashville, get yourself to Nashville to book a Nashville package. If there's enough interest, we can also make a Memphis package that would include your airfare. Again, our goal is to make it as simple as possible. And also means everyone gets on the same plane together, and that's kind of fun. We also, it includes the flight inside Nepal. In the video at the beginning, you saw that flight, that's Lukla. All of your airport transfers, all of your meals during the trek, and your lodging, both in tea houses along the trek and in Kathmandu before and after, as well as breakfast in Kathmandu, and a farewell dinner. It includes all your local guides, porters, and yaks to carry your bags. The only thing you're carrying is your water hydration pack. So that, again, make it easy for you. What's not included is your Nepali visa, but we tell you exactly what you need to do to get that. Travel insurance is not included, but it's required. We require it. I've looked at a ton of different travel companies, and the one that provides the best coverage and the best price is World Nomads. The link is on our page, but you can choose any one. You just have to have travel insurance. Alcohol's not included, nor is meat and fried food, for the reasons that Dawa said. That doesn't lend itself to a successful trek, but on the way down, you can have whatever you want and pay for it. Tips are not included, but we'll give you some guidance on that. Kathmandu sightseeing tours not included, but you can register, sign up to do that as an add-on, and you'll see that if and when you register for a trek. Wi-Fi showers are available, not in every tea house, and you might have to pay a little bit for it, but they're available. Your personal trekking equipment is not included, of course, but we will give you a list, and spending money, and we'll give you some guidelines on that as well. The Everspace Camp trek only, which does not include the international airfare, is $3,150. If you get yourself to Nashville and want to leave with the Nashville folks, it's $44.90, and that includes your international airfare. We also have treks to Annapurna Base Camp, Annapurna Circuit, Gokyo Lakes, which is gorgeous, and Coon Hill. Our focus here today is Everest Base Camp, but there are these options as well, and a 1 or 2 week student service trek for college kids that want to do some trekking, see some gorgeous scenery, stay in homes with locals, and do a little trekking. $500 holds your spot. If you're doing the Nashville package, your next installment of $2,000 is due about 6 months before your trek, and then the balance is due 70 days. If you're not doing the Nashville package, you're doing $500 deposit and the balance at 70 days. Oh, this is an important slide. If you have, because you're welcome to trek alone, because there'll always be other people with you. You won't actually be by yourself. But if you want to gather some of your friends, you get 3 to 5 people on your trek, then we give you $750 off your trek. And you can share that with your friends, or you can keep it all to yourself. No judgment, we won't tell anyone. 6 to 9 friends is $1,500 off your trek, and if you get 10 of your friends, maybe it's your church group or some other club you're a part of, $3,000 off your trek. After your first trek, you get $300 off your second, and veterans are $300 off any trek. So from here, go to our website, look around. We encourage you to look at other sites. I think that's part of the research that you should do. Watch YouTube videos. Mark can give you some suggestions on some really, really good ones. There's a ton out there, but he can help you narrow it down. Call us anytime to ask questions. That's what we're here for. The phone number on the card and our website is Mark's cell phone, so you can get us anytime. And we like talking about this, so it won't ever be a bother. Book your trip, start or keep hiking, and then check this off your bucket list. And now, questions. And we made it. We made it before it cut off. Yeah. Not all.
Going up, it's 8 days going up. After the day, 8 days when you go to base camp, and coming down 4 days.
Okay.
Yep.
I think it was on that.
That's fine.
On the itinerary that we had to scoot past real quick.
Good. What else?
Well, you identified 5 different options. Which one do you recommend the most, or how are they different?
You mean the treks?
Or like, I think you had 5
Yes.
treks
Right.
there.
So we have now Everest. That's the most popular because it's the top. I mean, the highest
It's
mountain.
Everest.
And it's Everest, and everyone wants to get there. So that's the most popular in Nepal. That's busy. Then comes the second one that was Annapurna was there. So Annapurna is the 10th highest mountain. So Everest is the top, and that was the 10th. It was the first to be climbed in 1951. So then they climbed Everest in 1953. So that's famous too. Annapurna one, they say that's harder than Everest. So there's so many. I mean, it's good. It's lower than Everest. The base camp is at 4,200 meters. So that's like, you know, when we said there were second rest day in Everest trek, the second rest day, that's where base camp would be for the other Annapurna base camp. So that's good to start too. I mean, most of the people, they love doing that because they want to stay low, and they have different plans and different dreams to go there too. And we have the other one that was the Annapurna circuit. That's a 17-day trek. So that's when you go around that. The Annapurna is like Annapurna 1. So there's Annapurna 2, there's Annapurna 3, there's Annapurna 4. They're all Annapurnas, just they're differentiated with numbers. But they're all high mountains. So the circuit takes you around those mountains. But Annapurna base camp just takes you to base camp and back. So those are the second popular treks in Nepal. That's why it's not busy like Everest, but it's the second busiest. So we do trips there, And there's some for people. The last one was Hobnail. We have treks for people who has very less time and who don't really do a hard job and walk up and they want to do a luxury trek. So we have those kinds of trips too. A week trip, 10 days trip, all sorts of trips, but you'll have to let us know saying this is what I want and this is where I want to go. So that's how we organize the trip. That's what we are all about. So we don't really just sell this many trips and say, you want to do that, do it. If you're not, you can't do it. We're like, just let us know what you need and what you want to, what's your level and all that. So that's why we organize and we tailor it for you.
The fifth one you didn't mention, Gokyo.
Oh, the Gokyo Lakes. Now, see, when you look at Everest, let's say you're looking at Everest region. So Gokyo is a different valley. Everest itself is a valley. So there's two rivers meeting in. So Gokyo Valley is where the lakes are. So those are beautiful lakes. There are 5 lakes. So that's where Gokyo Lake is the 3rd lake. Some people like doing that instead of base camp. Everyone has different thoughts and all that, but that's a good one too. But then what happens on that trip is you are further away from Everest. So you're looking at Everest with a wide angle lens. So when you do Everest base camp, you're looking right in front, which means you get a closer view and long distance view. So even Gokyo Lakes, that's one of my favorite ones. Yeah, you can do both. Everest and Gokyo too. So all you have to let us know is, hey, I want to do Everest and Gokyo.
We can combine those.
And there's a pass in between. So you'll have to cross that pass to get to the Gokyo Valley. So that's a little harder than Everest Base Camp, but people do that.
How
This
many,
is-
how many extra days is that?
That's it's only the extra day when you do the pass. So I would say 2 days extra. But then you'll be going to base camp and Gokyo and coming back. Most people go to Gokyo, do it the other way around. Some people do base camp and do the other way around. So it all depends on what you want, and we tell you the options.
One of the things that we haven't really mentioned is with the large companies, Dawa talked about being flexible. The large companies, understandably, they have to adhere to their schedule when they go, and their guides have to do exactly what they're told and everything. Our advantage is, depending on the people on the trek and what people want to do, Dawa can take you different ways, different trails that aren't traveled as much. You can peel off and go see something cool that might be more of a spur of the moment type thing, and we have the ability to do that because we can.
Yes, and let's say if everybody likes they like a place up there, and they want to be there for 2 more hours. I'm okay, no problem. But with some other groups and companies, they all the times are set, so you have very limited
And
things.
you will be on every one of the treks.
Once the group is, or it's closing, once it's over 10 or 12, then I'll have to go from here to Nepal. So once we have bookings coming in, that's when I spend more time in Nepal and try to do all the trips myself. And if not, it will be my friends who would do it. Most of the time I'll try to do it myself, or I can stay in Kathmandu and make sure things are running smooth. So I have a lot to do. And
You can also go on our website. We've got his network of guys there, and you can read about them too, just like him. So
I'm going to the one in March 31st next year. That I'm doing too. So we're hoping we'll have,
that trek is probably going to max out pretty quickly, starting around October, I think.
If you mentioned that you go in the spring or fall, what's the advantage of one or the other? I mean, are you seeing color?
Spring rhododendrons. That's our national flower. So you'll see that when we have trees, let's say Tanguche, when you trees are down there, it's nice green. But how you go up there, there's no trees, but still it's good. And in spring, that's when they say there's no much storms up there at Everest. That's when the expeditions go up there. April, May, they want to do that because they know, they've studied that it's good and weather's good and all that. So it's quiet in October too, but it's very less people who would climb Everest. But there are trekkers, lots of trekkers going to base camp, but you won't see all these expeditions at base camp like you see in March, April. They're everywhere. Sometimes they go away from base camp because it's full. So that's one reason. It's good weather. Once spring comes to an end, this summer, that's our monsoon over there. So that's when the cloud starts coming up, and that's when you don't want to go. So you want to do it in March, April, May, and September, October, November, even December. It all depends on what kind of person you are. And some people we're also planning to do Christmas treks. Some people want to stay away. They want to go on a trip on Christmas, so we do that Christmas trek. That may not take you all the way to base camp because of snow. So that could do the classic Everest. You just go see Everest from a distance and easy trek.
The reason we picked March 31st for our first trek, two reasons. One is because we'll be at base camp on my birthday, and so when you own the company, you can pick design. First time Mark scheduled it around his birthday, and I was like, no.
Yeah, that lasted for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's like, no, redo it.
Yeah.
We're going on my birthday.
But also that is, like Dawa said, when the expedition teams that are climbing Everest are going there, and so you've got the opportunity to interact with them in the tea houses.
And you'll meet
stuff,
them coming down, you can talk to them, and that's only one way to go to base camp, so everyone's taking the same route. Or some of them just fly up there, and those are the ones who don't make it because they didn't get used to the altitude. So
Speaking of, that was another question, was getting used to it. I mean, even these are some pretty, we lived in Colorado for a while, and there you're a mile high, or you go up to summit, they're about 8,000, I don't know, Frisco or something, and then you've got the peaks are 14. I mean, here you're starting pretty high.
yeah, we're saying
What is that, 80, is it 9 or
9,200 starting.
Yeah, starting,
Yeah.
It's interesting. I just posted this last week. When you're at base camp, you're about 2,000 feet higher than the highest peak in the continental U.S., which is crazy. But he can speak to this. But the way the way that these guys have designed the treks over years it's all about acclimatization and hiking high, sleeping low, building up your red blood cells, and doing it right. So there are people that have a problem with that, and in most cases they're doing something they're incorrectly, as far as they're going too fast or they're not drinking enough water or something like that.
Yeah, it gives you very less time to get used to the climate and altitude, but the main thing is to go slow. So that's why we only have several hours of walk every day, because even if you go slow, you still make it to the lodge. So, and drink plenty. 5 liters, they say 4 liters, some say 3 liters, I would say 5 liters. Just drink, it won't kill you, it will make you go off the road many times when you're trekking, but it's good. It's only for that 8 days. After that, I won't tell you to drink anymore. But that's the main key, drink, and we would recommend garlic soup. You can start having garlic soup. Just make soup out of garlic, or put garlic in your every meal. Because garlic, that's natural medicine. That'll do things with your blood cells and all that. So that's what my dad and most of the Sherpas up there, we just bite garlic. That has some reasons to do with your body. So we try to, even if you don't like it, we tell the lodge owners to put garlic in every meal. So if you don't eat, you're hungry. So
You might also want to carry a box of Tic Tacs with you the whole time.
that's what you have a goal. So it's like, even if you smell, that's fine, because that's your main goal is base camp, not garlic smelling. But see, the trek is designed that way just to give you the idea, and I mean, it's not designed to make everyone go sick. So that's why there's 2 rest days. Some people want to do it in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. They want to take it easy. They have enough holidays, so they take it slow. Some start from base. That's when Hillary and Tenzing, they didn't fly to Lukla. They started from the base. So from the base, it's a 21-day trek to base camp. Some people do that. They have enough time. They just save some money, and they think, oh, what do you have to take when you die? So they just go up for 2 months, and they start from the base. That's when they go over and down many times. So that's making them get used to the altitude. But for us, we can even design that trek if you have enough time. Start from base. But if when you fly to Lukla, yeah, but the
And starting from base would mean Kathmandu.
from Kathmandu you
Yeah.
drive and you start from long way down there, then you're flying up here. So that's a long way down there, and you go through different vegetation, different people, and you know you get to see all those simple lives down there, and very less tourist. So if you have time, that's the best to do it because you're getting used to and you're seeing more than what you will see. But for people who has less time, fly to Lukla and just start drinking. Start drinking as much as you can and walk slow.
Start
Some
drinking
people-
water.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. And some people take some medicine, Diamox and all that because they want to, because, well, Diamox is just will help you get used to. You just make your body get used to. It's not going to cure sickness, but it just help you get used to. Some people do that. Some don't because they want to do it without anything. So it all depends. But we would, I mean, I've had trekkers come to me and say, "Do you think I should start Diamox?" But I would say, "Listen to your body. How do you feel? If you think, then just go for it because you're doing it once. You don't want to come every time." And so people take Diamox. I don't know if you've heard of that, but that's just something that'll help you get used to.
A lot of this stuff too, we cover in our newsletters and communications. And if you book a trek with us, you actually get a lot more stuff than other people do. We have trekking guides that we produce, and we keep them posted on a unlisted link, essentially, where we give that to you, and you can go, and it talks all about, you know, we talk about training, we talk about Diamox and altitude and all that stuff. So
A couple of things I want to add to that. You know, we hear a lot about the altitude and you know, how are people adjusting to it. On all the treks that Dawa's been a part of, there's only 2 people that haven't made it to base camp. So that really, you know, I think it's following the
That
instructions.
puts it in perspective.
Yeah.
Actually, that's sort of the follow us. You know, the average person doing these, and I'm not climbers, but these
Right.
sort of base camp things. It's only been doing this for like I don't know how many hundreds of people. Or very
Well,
few.
when I take a group of 16, most of them make it. Some they still are close to base camp. Some they just want to see base camp from a distance. That's it. They're happy with that. But some don't want to spend 2 or 3 hours. So it's all different people. But most of them they're just up there. They don't want to go to base camp. They want to climb the next day to see Everest. See, everyone has their own. But most of them make it up till the last tea house. And if in case if someone don't and has to stay back there, then I will leave a Sherpa with them, so they don't have to go back to Kathmandu. They can stay down there and do other cool stuff. Like they can choose a different. They might go to Gokyo Lake, see if they can't make it to base camp. So all those things will be organized, and that's my job to make sure if there's a couple who didn't make it, who can't make it to base camp, then there's no problem. They will have the most fun time than the ones who made it to base camp, and we'll make sure.
So there's options.
Yeah, there are options, and
Yeah.
you can meet them on the way back, so everyone can meet at Namche and come back home together.
What if you still do all the precautions, but you do this?
So there is a limit on when we say, hey, I think now we might have to stay here, but we know you paid your money and you have a dream. So there's a line when I say, that's it, you don't want to go ahead. So that's when we leave you back there, and we'll see if you get any better after going back. If you do, you might want to come a little higher, go as high as you can. We have plans for all that, but then we don't wait till someone collapses. Or I would know that beforehand. So we'll be knowing that when you don't eat well, when you don't listen to me, that's when things go wrong. And well, I've traveled. I've had doctors and heart surgeons in my group, but up there I'm the heart surgeon. I tell them I'm not a PhD doctor, but we've done it so many years that we can tell people, we can just tell by looking at their activities, saying that, oh, she might have trouble, or he might have trouble. So main thing is to listen to the guides and be cooperative and tell them what if you had any tablets or medicine, let them know so that they know what's going on. You know, that's the main key, is just be simple and let them know.
And that's another reason why we require travel insurance. It's not just in case your flight's canceled or you injure yourself before the trek and have to cancel it altogether. It also includes the medical evacuation if you were to get very sick, or and like one of my coworkers used to say, if you get it, you won't need it. So we're all gonna get it, and then none of us will need it, right?
Yeah.
How much does it cost now? Just to
The
have an idea.
World Nomads is $132. They have 2 levels. That's the highest level, which is what you would need.
And the visa, how much is it?
The visa's $40.
Yeah.
So an extra 200.
And spending money, we're going to recommend between $300 and $500. Just depends on how many people you have to buy souvenirs for, and how
most of
pricey
them-
you want to buy them.
Most of them buy carpets and all
Yeah.
those yak bells and Namche Bazaar.
Yes.
So it all depends on what do you went there for, and what do you want to shop, and what do you want to drink, and all that. There's Starbucks and local, but you don't want to have Starbucks.
Right, right.
You want to go and get some Chang and local stuff. And
That's right.
How crowded are the trails? I hear that there's a lot of groups and all explorers.
You mean
crowded? I mean,
Crowded.
crowded?
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on which time. So if you start early, spring, that
like,
could,
like this March that you guys are
more, it'll be busy. But then some trails are so tight and narrow that you can't be two-way people. So all you have to do is wait and let them come, or they will wait and you let them go. It'll be busy. Yeah, busy. I mean busy. Yeah, that's why we have to book all the hotels ahead of time, 6 months
Like
ahead.
when you're on the trail, there's always other groups you see.
Yeah,
all
you
the
will see
time.
big groups coming down, going up. Yeah, and it's only in June, July when you see very less people.
Because it's
If you-
monsoon.
It's
season.
monsoon and they don't want to travel.
Right. Now that doesn't mean that the whole time that you're walking, you're going to be stumbling over other
No,
people. It'll
yeah.
it'll be different times of the day that you'll see your group coming and you'll pass. Yeah.
One of the things that I am most excited about are the evenings and afternoons in the tea house, where you get to know not just the people on your trek, but on other treks, and and just that downtime to just relax and get to know people. And Dawa and his staff every night will do a briefing about what we'll see the next day, which will include not only, hey, we're going to get you up at this time and we're going to walk this far, and kind of the normal stuff, but also, hey, on this one it'll be our first view of Everest, or you want to look for the man that has a little donation bucket because he's the one that maintains this trail, and just talking about all those little things that to look out for, and I don't know, I'm just real excited about that too.
And I'll tell you that we're talking about there being, it being busy and there being all this, but the thing that the reason that I wanted to do this is, even with that said, you are walking in one of the most remote places on the planet. You're walking in a place that can only be reached on foot, period. You're not driving there, and unless a helicopter drops you off, and there's limited resources. There's a limit to the comfort level that you're going to have, and all that stuff is what it's all about. That's what makes it worth doing, and what's going to make it such a memorable thing. I tell people say, "Oh, I want to go to warm places on vacation." I was like, "Well, this is not a vacation. This is, vacations are going to Myrtle Beach or something. This is a life-changing experience. This isn't a vacation." So, even with there being a lot of people up there, it's still only relatively a lot. I think it's around 30,000 people that trek to base camp annually for the whole planet. So
a group of 16,
Maximum.
if you include the guides and boards and everything, how many will be total?
A group of 16 with Everest Base Camp. If I have 16 tourists, then I'll have 2 Sherpas. 2 Sherpa, they're the assistant guides. That's what I did for 4 years, 3.5, 4 years. Then I'll have a guide. So he oversees the porters and the lodges and everything. Then the leader. So it's like 2, 3, 4 for 16 people.
Plus 8 porters.
And plus 8 porters or 4 animals.
Right.
4 yaks. So it depends on what we take. If you take animals, that's less risk because you're dealing with animals and not humans. Because even porters get sick, so it's nice to take yaks and just deal with the yak owner. If there's a dead yak, we say, hey, it's at least not a human. It's your yak, and we can deal with his money and all that.
Right.
So, yeah, I've had yaks. I've done the 3 high passes of Everest. There's 3 high passes of Everest, and they're like all 17,000 and up. So we took yaks up there. Even yaks do the pass.
And
So-
did they all make it?
Yaks make it. I mean, it's the yaks always have a leader. I mean, I'm the human leader, so we have a yak leader too. So the leader leads. The yak leader leads the path. All his yaks follow. So if the leader don't, there's no way we can make them go. So it has to be the leader who leads. Then the followers just follow him. So that's the way to do it. I mean, I don't know how they do it, but that's how it works up there. And these yaks stay above 3,000 meters because below that it's too cold for them. I mean, too hot. So they want to stay up in the mountains. So we use them most of the time.
I missed your answer. You were saying how many people go on the treks per year?
30,000 annually.
Like 30,000 overall, like climbers and everything.
Well, no, I'm not sure if that
Everyone
includes
has
climbers.
to. Yeah, everyone has to go through. This is a park up there. It's a national
Right.
park, so they have to go check in. So that'll be right. Yeah. Like for this season, they said I had a friend who takes care of the pollution up there in Everest Base Camp. So he oversees how pollute they do and how many cylinders they leave and all that. So he stays there for that 2 months just to make sure that travelers are doing everything right. So he was telling me there were 15 expeditions. So one expedition has like 15 climbers. So just to climb Everest for this season, there were over 1,000 people up there with Sherpas and climbers and everyone just in base camp. Plus, the travelers. So yeah.
Yeah, base camp's like a small city.
Well,
It's not just a few
so base
tents.
camp, they have, but people are camping there too.
Yeah, it's all
So
tent.
I mean, would this group stay in the tea houses at base camp, or you don't?
There's
you
no-
go there, you don't actually stay there.
No,
Correct.
Yes, there's a place called Gorakshep. That's the last place we'll be sleeping at. So that's the day when we leave early, go there, go to your rooms, put your bags in there, just get the things that you need. Down jackets, your cameras, chocolate, your Snicker bars and all that. You come
It's a
down, have
tradition,
lunch,
Snicker bar at this.
have lunch, and then you leave. That's a hike now. So it's 5 hours or 6 hours round trip. Go to base camp and come back. So you won't really get to go and talk to them and shake hands with them because they want to keep us away. They don't want to get infected and get sick. So we'll be a little different up there, which is fine.
Yeah, we'll probably actually be at base camp for less than an hour.
Take
Is that
pictures.
what was it, 18,000? Was it 18,000?
17,599. Yeah.
And it's the next day when we go, we wake up early again, 3 o'clock. It depends on when Everest gets sun. That's what you see. If you look at that picture, that's the view that you'll see from the peak. Not a mountain, nothing. It's just a little hill. Not a little hill, but it's a hill. It's called Black Rock. It'll take you 2.5 hours to get up there. So that's when we try to set the time so that on the way up we can see Everest with sunrise. And some just go halfway, and that's happy. They're happy with that.
And
You see
Everest
it.
is the peak on the left,
You
the
see that
darker one.
dark one in the middle, triangular, that's Everest. So that's what you'll see. And you'll see base camp too, down there, base camp, and other base camps too. That's the main highlight of the trip too.
One interesting thing, speaking of that picture, about the March 30th trek, we don't know for sure yet, but we're talking with a very successful landscape photographer about taking that trip with us. And he's going to be doing, some pretty serious photography. What does that mean for us? That means that we're going to be in a lot of really cool pictures. If you go on that track, you're going to be in a lot of really cool pictures because he's going to be doing stuff for us and for him at the same time, and including shots from Kalapatar and that angle there with us, with us in them. So
photo bombing the
Yeah.
sunrise over Everest and then
Right.
photo bomb it. Yeah.
That's just a perk of that particular trek. So anyway, Kate, I know you've got some question.
Oh, I don't know. What are some like things that we can do now to prepare? Like books we can read that you recommend, or
Yeah, go hiking. Yeah, like he said, Mike said, like 5 miles or something every week, or I mean one day or whatever you can, and go do some exercise and squats, and just to get used to with your knees that you won't have troubles, because altitude you'll get there and you'll see. So you want to get yourself pumped up and ready to do that 12-day trek. So that's what you can do here, and it's not a whole lot because it's too low, but still drink plenty and just get used to garlic. And that's our way. Yeah.
There's a really good book that I've read a bunch of them, but there's one that's just an Everest Base Camp trek book. I'll give you guys the link to it. It was, I'm trying to remember, it's an Everest Base Camp trek with Ange Dory.
Yeah.
Andor G. Yeah, he was the guy that guided this group on this trek is one of the more famous climbing guides as well. So, and the editor, Tim Cahill with Outside Magazine, went on this trek with this guide and some of his friends, and one of the guys is a physician that wrote a book about it. And it's one of the best, it's a really comprehensive, good book. The back of the book has got just all kinds of, he'll give you the elevation changes for every single day, exactly what they eat, like how much weight he lost, just everything about it. This guy's like a freak of research.
Lonely Planet. Yeah, people use that a lot too. You just take that with you, just so that when you read books every afternoon, you have nothing to do.
Yeah.
Read books, but then even the lodges will have some books that I never read. I mean, there's nothing for me to read in their books, but except in case if there's some with mountains, I like it. But people there, there's always a little shelf with books. So books, you don't want to take too many books, so you want to try to take the light ones. So you don't want the Sherpas and the yaks falling down and with too many books in your backpack. Some people do that. They just don't realize that the porters are carrying them.
We're going to recommend a Kindle and
Right.
not a bunch of books.
How's your charging capabilities in the TV?
Charging, you can charge them nowadays mostly everywhere in every lodge, but it could be 10 chargers, and you could be the next 11. So some rooms have chargers, some they have, but it's not going to be like over here. You have your universal plugins and all that. Over there, it's going to be the three pin. So you want to take some extra, what do you call it, adapters and all that. Some places would charge you like $1.50 till you fully charge your mobile or your cameras. That's possible. It's something that we can do.
We'll guide you on that too, because for me, that's going to be a big deal, because I'm taking a lot of camera gear and stuff, and even
Solar chargers.
I'll probably have a solar pack that'll lay across the back of my backpack and plugs into a power bank, and you can charge stuff that way too. So I'm telling you, it's a science. They've got it down to a science, because there's so many people that are blogging and video and doing stuff. So
the other option is don't take anything.
that's right.
Right.
Just go trek.
It's an opportunity.
No charging, nothing.
Right, yeah.
But it's okay. It's available. Wi-Fi. They give you connection. You might end up paying for some time. Sometimes they have laptops there. They have cyber cafes, and you can go to your internet. That's an Namche Bazaar.
What if you sign up for one trek and you have a complication? Can you switch to another, or
You can. Yep.
Up to
without
what
any
time?
penalty?
We just need notice, because if we're booking your flight, then it would have to be more than 6 months out, because we buy the tickets in 6 months. And within 60 days, Da was buying the internal Nepal flights and booking all the hotels.
But it's possible.
Yep.
What else?
Amazing.
Yeah, that's when you want to take it, you want to expand that. But as you go closer, you can do that every day, because that's what we'll be doing, like no more than 10 miles. So if you can, if there's a place where you can here, I don't know if there's. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do the equivalent.
Yeah.
There's a
Stairmaster.
Right.
Because it's not just altitude, it's like some people are not physically good with their knees, so they don't get altitude sickness, but it's their knees.
Right.
So,
I've had surgeries on my knee. I'm actually going down.
Is worse.
yeah, but
So
But
your
actually,
hiking
both, I
poles will
haven't
help,
done
yeah.
that much.
Yep.
Probably helps out.
and when you
Yes,
use when you
absolutely.
use poles, when you go up, I've seen people they don't know how to use poles, and when you go down, you want the poles longer, so that you don't have to go really down. And some people leave that poles longer, and they're doing that going up, and it's like make them shorter because that's to help you go up. So.
Well, Memphis, we don't have mountains, but Shelby Forest is a good place to go to those hikes because it has a lot of ravines
Mhm.
that you go down and then you go up. So even though it's not a mountain, you still get a lot of up and
Is that
down.
Shelby Forest, like Neiman Shelby Forest, the one that's north of Millington?
Right,
Is that
that
the
one.
one?
Yeah.
Along the river, pretty much. Kinda
No, they have
north.
several trails, but
The ones that look
some of them do have
gathered
quite a bit up and down.
together.
So you get a good,
one thing.
and it's close by, right? So.
One thing about our company that, again, is unusual is that because we're kind of regionalized, we are focused on creating groups to do these things. So let's just say that all y'all booked the same track. If you did that, what we would do is help arrange group hikes, group meals, cookouts, stuff like that, where not only do you get to know each other before you get there, which is no other company can say that, but you can do some stuff together. You can figure out the best places to go do some training hikes. We already know, there's a Montgomery Bell State Park near us where there's an 11-mile loop that we do, and but that's part of the deal when you book with us is you don't have to do those things, but we will help arrange. Probably Ms. Kate right here will be involved in helping set up some social events and some group hikes and stuff in the Memphis area. So,
We also have a
You
Facebook
folks are-
page.
You're in Nashville?
We're in Nashville.
You're in Memphis.
We also have a Facebook page that is like a private page. It's only for that track.
for a particular
So
track.
if you all book different tracks, you wouldn't be on the same Facebook page. So that, and if you don't have Facebook, it's okay. You'll get to know each other through the other events and stuff. But we really did want to use it as an opportunity to build community, and so that when you go halfway across the world to, do this epic journey, that you're doing it with people that are friends. New friends, but friends nonetheless. So you're not experiencing that with strangers, but people you've already come to know.
Yeah. And by the way, Facebook Live people, if you have any questions, fire them this way right quick, because we'll probably shut you off here in a couple minutes.
Nothing personal.
And I'm gonna post. I will save this. It'll be posted. You can watch it again or send us other questions. So we just have to get out of this particular location in the next little bit. But so what else?
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
The meal
Thank you.
is good.
But we appreciate you guys coming. We
Really do.
Yeah.
How far have you climbed up? Have you done one of the main expeditions ever?
No, just base camp.
And tell them why.
That's what my dad did. So
Yep.
he didn't choose to
Family
climb.
did, yeah.
Yeah, he just did the easy treks because he knew that he could make more going up.
Yeah.
I
And
could do- I could do that too.
Probably be safer for your family.
Yeah.
Too.
So then again, that's what happens with all the Sherpas is that most of them are from. All these villages up there. They have like everyone from each family goes up to Everest. So sometimes, like when the Shiksin they died in Everest with the avalanche, it was from the whole village. See, so what happened? All those young guys from that village was gone. So they make good money. It's good money, but it's hard. But you may not come down and get the check. So I would make less, 10 times less than what you can make, and be happy and come back home.
Yeah.
And now I have a baby too.
Yeah.
So I have to come back home.
And he's also glad his dad
Yeah.
wasn't a monk.
Right.
He wasn't a monk and he didn't
And
climb
he didn't
Everest.
climb.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you said this, but it's the youngest son of the family that's expected to do what the father did.
Just to
Which
keep
is-
the,
and that-
that's
that-
me.
Yeah.
My other brother,
So he's
medical.
very glad his dad did
Yeah.
Summit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you all so much for
been a-
coming.
it's been a blast.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, me
Thank you,
too.
Donna.
And thank you, Facebook Live people. We'll catch you later.
And the meal that you